Welcome everyone to our LinkedIn Live. Today we have invited Saurabh Agarwal, an ex-McKinsey consultant, to ask questions on clients' behalf who are trying to understand how they can leverage AI for their industry. And our expert is Sharad Varshne, our CEO, who has very hands-on experience. And just before I turn over to Saurabh and Sharad, we have a blog similar to this topic on data AI readiness. The link is just being posted in the chat. So, Saurabh, yes, I will drop out and you take over. All the best.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Shilpi, for the introduction and for the context. So let me actually tell you, Sharad, where I am coming from. So as Shilpi mentioned that I'm an ex-McKinsey consultant, and AI is a big trend, is a buzzword these days. So I keep on getting a lot of inquiries from the clients, and not necessarily from the technical people like chief data officers, but even from the strategy people, the senior management. That is this really important? Is this just a buzzword, a fad? Why do they need to be AI ready? So would be interesting to know your perspective on that basic question.
Hey, thank you, Saurabh. Hey, welcome everyone to the podcast. So this is a question which everybody is asking, that is it really a fad, or this is really going to be transformative? And I personally believe it's a revolution. It's kind of like cell phone is, or internet is. It's that kind of change. So it is going to disrupt a lot of industries. It's going to transform different industries. It will have a major significant change in companies. The way we operate right now compared to 10 years ago, where the cell phone was not there, or 15 years ago, or 25 years ago when internet was not there. The industry used to look different. So similar to that, we think that this industry is going to, this AI is going to change a lot. A lot of industry is going to be shifted, and that's my perspective is. And also this perspective is also kind of like overall, kind of everybody resonated the same point of view in the market, I would say that.
Got it. And so initially I'm just trying to gain more clarity on what is this beast AI. And we also keep on hearing about buzzwords like Gen AI, and then robotics is a big theme these days. And then in my days, so I've done a lot of data processing, data mining work for GE Money. We used to use AI or machine learning for our fraud prevention models. We have also done optimization using machine learning in an operations research context. So when you say AI, what does it mean? Because to me, it seems like there are multiple things we are talking about. Robotics on one hand, then Gen AI, ChatGPT, and then we talk about the machine learning aspect. So how to put all these variations of AI in context? What's your
very good question? So I think the AI is a buzzword. I would say that buzzword in the sense is a larger category. Now the multiple varieties of AIs are there, right? So I think the machine, if you see it started even I think 25 years ago when I was doing studying. At that time, neural network course used to be there.
Exactly.
College, right? You might have done this as well. So the neural network is the same concept, but because of availability of chips and availability of this AI chip, we have a lot more processing power now. So the neural network have come to the fruitfulness that we are able to solve a lot of use cases. Now let's see that, like, the generative AI is obviously OpenAI is the one who created this. I would say the revolution in this area, that which we understand, which we fed a lot of text to it, which kind of the AI got smart about it. Right? So that's one part of things, but that is only one part of the equation. This is also going into the building a better graphics, a kind of a general purpose AI, which is kind of have a human kind of intelligence. Like that's what we are trying to build. There is obviously the machine learning is a big area of disruption is still there, where this AI industry can be used, right? So if you see overall, like at the very high level, what the AI is going to do in various industries, for example, some industry is going to be disrupted. For example, a legal industry, right, where the legal, I would say that because most of the information is the the knowledge about the law and context is already available in the books. So the lawyer, what the lawyer does, it can be done by computers now very easily. And again, you will need a lawyer to argue in the court, but a lot of backroom discussions and a lot of contract reading can be accomplished by AI now. So that this, I believe that this area is going to be disrupted very heavily, right? But if you disrupt it in the sense the new business model will come, new maybe the AI plus human based kind of business model will come. Some law firms will start in different areas. So the new disruption will happen in this area. And for example, if I say utility industry, which is electric generation industry, um, electric generation may not have that big of an impact of AI, right? Provided we move the power generation from the power plants to solar plant, right? Solar plant, then we might be getting a lot of data from them and might do a little bit AI to kind of do the power generation because of the weather prediction. All these things come into the picture, but otherwise you will not see a major disruption in the industry, right? So again, it's going to be industry by industry. You will have a legal industry to power industry to banking industry. Different use case will emerge, and based on that, the disruption will happen differently. And as you say, that there is another question was that what is the difference between the artificial intelligence or AI, or there may be a predictive intelligence. There are variety of way the I would say that analytics or AI is going to solve the problem, and that's where the innovation is going to come. So right now, the generative AI have taken a the front generation approach that is kind of we can see that how this is going to come into the market. But in artificial intelligence, the machine learning, how it's going to transform, a lot of use cases have not come up yet. So we really don't know that how this is going to transform majorly. But we have a fair idea that it's going to be transformed. We can do SQL in analytics much more faster now. We'll be able to do much faster because of availability of that.
Okay. I think so. Let me just summarize what I understood. It's a very interesting take. So you talked about disruption. This is a topic of great interest to my clients. I'm sure for all the businesses, the business model disruption. Then you talked about multiple use cases. And then you talked about certain industries which are more traditional, like utilities, which might not have an immediate or urgent need for AI. So my question is, other than disruption, because typically when you think of McKinsey, we get hired for strategy work. Do you have a perspective in strategic areas? Is AI going to have a role to play or not?
Again, the strategic areas are more I would say intellectual. So although AI may solve some problem, but the companies will not rely on AI much, while we will rely on human to do a comprehensive analysis of strategic. So where the decisions are very it's worth a lot, while the cost of decision making is very low. I don't think that they will going to have a major impact. The major impact is going to be where the work is very repetitive. This is where the AI is going to take a lot make a role. Like for example, driving. We know how do we drive. It's Tesla is trying to change it, but everybody is trying to go to the autonomous car so that AI can drive itself. It's a repetitive work. This is wherever the like fraud analysis, fraud detection, or loan approval, or any use cases which is repetitive, which is done multiple times, that is where there's a lot more chances of AI using it, but where the decision making is very, very consequential. Like I don't think we will give a US president job to AI, for example.
Got
Right,
it.
will never going to happen, or the CEO job is not going to go there. But bottom of the pyramid, it will start from the bottom of the pyramid.
Got it. So in a way, what you're saying is where it's a consequential and infrequent decision, a big decision that is not taken repetitively, that is where AI it does not seem to be suitable right now. But wherever it's repetitive, and you gave these examples of fraud detection, loan approvals, etc. And I can already, because when I was with GE Money and other analytics companies, I could already see, or neural networks, as you mentioned, being used when the data, when the cases were repetitive. So, for example, fraud or even healthcare, claims processing, diagnostics, these are all repetitive use cases. So this is where you're saying. So in a way, what you're saying is the application and the significance of AI varies by industry. Certain industries, AI is more applicable, certain industries less applicable. And you're saying certain industries can be disrupted, like you gave the example of the law profession. Any other example that you can think of, which any other industry which can be disrupted in the near future, or you think it's too early to
It's
say?
too early to say, but definitely wherever the decision making is more like, obviously the robotics is converting into the AI as well. So the manufacturing is also going to be disrupted quite a bit, because AI is going to come in robotics, and most of the work in manufacturing are repetitive, right? So that is going to be majorly transformed. The whole manufacturing sector is going to be transformed, and since manufacturing was the job opportunity, so we don't really know that how it's going to play, but these industries will have a lot of impact on the overall. Like I won't think the healthcare will have a major impact, because still there is a still big deal of because again the consequences are very high, right? Because
Okay.
if the doctor does a big operation, it may have, the consequences are high. But where the consequences are low, we are going to trust AI more on that rather than on giving our health. It's again, I'm not saying that the AI will not be able to see that, but our as a human, our trust will not be there that much,
And this is
comparative to
interesting.
the use cases where we can easily trust AI.
And this is interesting because only recently I was reading about this ethical or this compliance risk associated with relying on AI. Because sometimes when you rely on AI to take, let's say, loan or credit card decisions, AI can discriminate based on gender or race, etc. So I think this is where also it's important to put AI in context, and
Yes,
organizations that
and
are AI ready need to take care of that risk.
this is where the idea of AI governance or AI readiness is going to come into the play. That
Okay.
why to when we are moving the, of course, as the need for AI to take the decisions are there, but so do
Okay.
the compliances and the regulations will come into the play, which we need to address it, and that's where the AI readiness and AI governance come into the play. That how do we take those risks into the consideration.
AI, interesting term, AI readiness. We'll come to this term, but just one question from the strategic standpoint. So I understand that disruption possibilities, and I understand that repetitive tasks can be improved, but though not strategy. But net, what is the return on investment, or what is the impact that we are talking about if organizations start implementing AI or start implementing AI readiness, as you mentioned?
Yeah, I think that so AI is any company, any I think this is where the CEOs and chief strategy officers have to put their hat to understand that what will be the impact of that in their industry would be. They have to because we don't know what would be the impact. I don't think that anybody figured out that how the taxi industry is going to be transformed by cell phone, you know
Hmm.
because of the Uber. So this is a very more,
Hmm.
as many visionary people are there, they will be able to understand how their industry is going to transform, and they will be taking the right action into the cases. But
Hmm.
just thinking that is not going to transform is I think it's a foolish idea. It's definitely going to impact it. Like for example, insurance is definitely going to be impacted. Banking is
Hmm.
going to be impacted. What use cases would it be? Like, yeah, insurance, the customer service use cases, banking, fraud
Hmm.
detection, loan approval
Hmm.
process. Those are where the efficiencies are going to be touched. Now, is there a new insurance company can come up altogether which totally transform it? It can be, but that is where this is where the insurance expert or in insurance CEO or the visionary people of insurance industry will transform and decide that how it's going to happen. But there will be impact for sure in those
I think
areas.
that's a very good perspective. So I think you gave the example of taxi cab aggregators. I think you were referring to Uber. So GPS technology was an enabler, but whoever is offering that technology cannot foresee the disruption possibilities that only an entrepreneur can see. So what you're saying is AI is an enabling technology for potential disruption, but what I think you're saying is you cannot think in ROI terms if you are thinking of disruption, because disruption by its nature, you cannot foresee how much, where it will land. But I think what you also talked about, these traditional use cases, when you talked about loan, fraud, healthcare, etc., and manufacturing. So I think then in these traditional non-disruptive use cases, then the impact is going to be mainly on efficiency, cost savings. Is that the benefit, and how much?
Mostly, I believe that impacted will be on that area, cost savings and efficiency. Of course, there will be some marketing use cases, sales use cases would be there to generate more demand, but mostly around cost saving for all because of the traditional use cases. I believe so.
Got it. Or interesting. So I have good perspective. I can place how important this technology, this trend is from as a generalist, as a non-technical person, as a strategy person. Now I want to go a bit tactical in specifics. So let's say if organizations decide that this is an important theme that they want to pursue, then the next question is, the first step. So typically, I keep on reading that AI people are very rare to find, very expensive, and typically you want to hire someone as a first step who can spearhead all these AI initiatives. So how do you solve that challenge? How should they start with hiring first, or do you have any other suggestion on that?
So this is a very this is a very important question to kind of understand how do we start towards the AI journey. And the one thing I always say that people you can hire, infrastructure you can purchase, but the data is which upon you are going to build your AI, right? AI strategy. Say for example, if I want to, I have, let's say I'm Bill Gates and I want to start a new insurance company. I cannot, even though I'm Bill Gates. I have all the kind of money because I do not have the data to start the insurance company, right? So similar to that, if I want to transform and I have a good idea to disrupt any industry, the only people who have the data can build the AI model on top of it and can do the disruption or transformation. So without data, AI is nothing. Like this AI is going to run on top of data. The data you train the AI with, and then you learn it. The generative AI was built by publicly available information, but still we are seeing some sort of a copyright violation problems, etc., is coming in that. But the companies who owns the data, like for example, if you own a banking data, if you own the banking information, you own all this, how the transactions are happening, and you already have understood all the fraud which happened in the past, that you will be able to train model better to do a better fraud detection. I don't think that suddenly somebody can create, hey, I have a better fraud detection, because without data you cannot create a new fraud detection model. And this is why this technology is very, very different than other technology. Before that used to be, you can purchase the technology and you just need to focus on people, right? Suppose the cell phone technology, you purchase cell phone and you buy this, you hire some people and they can do the transformation. This industry is different. This revolution is different because it is going to build on data. So the data is number one. Number two is people, obviously. Because without people you can't do anything. And number three is infrastructure, right?
Okay, so
because the reason I'm saying infrastructure, because a lot of people saying infrastructure is number one. I'm saying number three because the AWS and IBMs and Googles of the world are investing billions or not trillions in the infrastructure readiness, right? So whenever you are ready for infrastructure, you can just rent the infrastructure for it. Of course, the company like AWS, Facebook have to invest on infrastructure, but they are investing on it. But as a banking company or as an insurance company or as a healthcare company, I do not have to think about it. You can imagine that you just have to rent it. There's no point of buying the infrastructure right now. But getting the data ready for the AI is number one. And number two is hiring the right talent so that they can be nurtured upon it. They understand the industry as well as data scientists, those who can create the new model for you. And then the infrastructure is needed to kind of build the model and come to the marketplace. Those are three things I would say that in that order.
Okay, and that's actually a very interesting perspective. It makes it clear, the sequencing clear. So in a way, I can think of three types of readiness. One is the infrastructure readiness. Then it's the people readiness. If I think of my clients, organizations, and the first one is data readiness. So what you're saying is infrastructure readiness is not a big concern, because as you're saying, all these companies are themselves, AWS and all these platform providers, they are themselves solving this problem for companies. So infrastructure readiness is almost like a commodity or easily available thing in the market. So that's, and you're saying typically, do you see in your experience, do people or your customers typically mistakenly believe this to be the top priority infrastructure, and they uh, underemphasize the data or the people aspect?
I am reading all the analyst reports and everybody saying infrastructure first approach.
Okay.
Hey, that's one of the reasons you see that Nvidia stock is going to the roof, because they are thinking the infrastructure is needed for doing the AI. From the market perspective, that is right. You will need infrastructure to create a AI use case, but
Okay,
without
yeah.
data, the use case will not return any ROI for you. So you will need infrastructure for sure, but a lot of companies are thinking of buying the infrastructure first and not thinking of data first. Right?
Okay, so
That's
it's
what is I see a lot of companies are trying in that. Oh, infrastructure is needed, and obviously the people is, I think everybody's realizing the people is needed to do this.
okay. So in a way, if I use a technical, in a way, you're saying infrastructure as a service can be taken from the market. So that's an easy problem. Infrastructure as a service, it's solvable. And so you're saying first data, figure out, and I can understand. So what you're saying is data is something that you already have. It's a legacy that you already have. And that you're saying that's the foundation. So first use that, and then you're saying hire the right people, because that might take some time. But should we not first hire people and then they can own this data problem, and also they can own the
They
infrastructure problem?
cannot own the data problem because the data readiness, when I call about data readiness, this have to data is generated by the people of the company which is already there. And when I say data AI readiness, you need to get their information about the data from the people who already there in the place. So for example, you are trying to create a claim processing, so that you can hire a data scientist who will write a very good claim processing algorithm and do a claim processing faster, or find the detect fraud in the claims or something. But what's in the claim, what's in the data, how bad the data quality is, how good the data quality is, those are the things you have to make sure their existing people have to contribute towards that journey. So because the data is collecting by the existing people, by existing systems are the one which is collecting the data, and then you need the information about the data from existing people in your organization.
All right. And I think that's what you will suggest at some point, is companies will also need some provider, some vendor to fix, because companies themselves, I'm assuming, if they don't have the people, they don't even understand what is AI readiness, right? How to make data AI ready. So companies will have no clue. So I think this is what you have on your mind as well, right? That some vendors will come in to make the data ready as companies think about hiring people and infrastructure.
Yeah, so for AI ready data, that's where the framework comes in place. That the blog which we have written about it, that
Okay.
how you need your data to be AI ready, and that's for that you don't need many people to be hired and do the AI data ready. That's not the case. But creating a framework in the company, your existing people need to contribute towards AI readiness, so that you can ensure that your data you have is well curated, well cataloged. It's free from biases. You know where the data come from, where it goes. All this information are there with you. So when your people who will creating the model for the data can be fast, can do things efficiently. Otherwise, they will keep Otherwise, the model they will create will have biases, and they will have to retrain the model, and then they will go to the legal problems because of that. So to avoid that, they need to get the data AI ready.
Okay, so what is becoming clear to me is the importance of AI and the pockets in which AI can be relevant and impactful, and what kind of impact we are talking about. And then you're saying data needs to be the priority, not infrastructure and people. And you talked about data AI readiness. So this, and I have been reading before this event. I read a little bit, some blogs, etc. And my frankly, my pain point is when I read these blogs, when they say data needs to have quality, accuracy, consistency, reliability, this all seems very hazy, very abstract to me. So I think one question I want to understand, and I'm sure your audience will also want to understand, when we say data AI readiness, what does it actually mean? And if you could just answer this using maybe just a few examples.
It's a very good question. What it really mean by it when we say, oh, okay, it need to be high quality, what it really mean by it, right? So let's take a example of a very simple data, which is mostly the customers data, let's say, right? So the customers data, every company have their customer information, right? So if I am a utility company, for example, I can guarantee that my address will be always right, because I am going and I'm when I'm collecting the address, this is where I'm serving them. So there is no problem of having a wrong address for me, right? But if I am a retail company, I generally don't know anything, because the customer comes to me, they purchased it something, and I have no idea where the address is of that customer is. And you might create a reward program or something to create some sort of a, I would say that some sort of a mechanism to collect the addresses, but 90% or 70-80% of the time these addresses are incorrect, right? So we know that there is a huge data quality problem in for retail companies for getting the accurate address information, etc. So what will we do? Okay, so what now? Let's say that you want to create a better marketing campaign, right? So if you want to create a better, very precise marketing campaign, you will not be able to create the marketing campaign if you're a retail company, because you don't have very good address information. You will not be able to send the right flyer to your customers, right? Because you don't have that information. You don't understand how much they purchase, how much they not purchased, right? So this is where when we say AI readiness, that's what the high quality means, is that the data which you collect needs to be quality data, right? It should have a right addresses. It should have the right phone number, so that you can contact them, right? That's a massive data. But even the lot of information, like for example, we collect for all our customer, we have like contract values, we have annual contract values, we have total contract values, we have so many, the matrices we collect to do our forecasting. But if we are not connecting this information and we don't have processes to collect this information properly, then the AI will not be able to create the further models. AI will not be able to predict that how we need to transform our sales methodology. So every company, whatever the business process they want to optimize, for that business process optimization, they need to have a high quality data. Otherwise, with the bad quality data, you will not be able to optimize your business process.
I think you gave a lot of tangible examples to make this point clear. I just have one question where I struggle, because when you say high quality data, some of the examples that you gave, even before AI became a buzzword, even before, I'm sure organizations, big banks, etc., would be ensuring that the quality of data is high. So what I'm struggling to understand, as I was reading all these blogs, that what is the delta? What is the change now? What will change now for your data to be AI ready from a data quality standpoint?
That's a very, very good question. That's where the data governance and AI readiness will kind of like come into the place. So when I say data governance, means again you are ensuring the same thing. The data is high quality. Data is that we know the source. Data is well curated, right? And when we are saying AI readiness, we are saying the same concept. But the difference between them is when we talk about data governance, we are talking about the data which goes to regulators. Like, for example, if you are a bank, you are submitting some report to your FDIC, right? You are submitting some report to your IRS, right? So when you are submitting information to regulators or this one, they want to make sure that the data which you report to them is 100% accurate. Right? You cannot create a bank cannot say I have a $5 billion liquidity, but actually it's 4.8 billion. It cannot be, otherwise you will be penalized for it. So for that you have to, but there are a lot of parameters for every kind of thing, and that's why you have to collect the data with the high quality of it. So the framework you have to apply on a most critical data, which is start from regulations, start from the CFO reports, etc. While when you do AI readiness, it starts from the use cases. What use case you think that AI can optimize for you first, right? And that is again the visionary approach have to come. Like, for example, if I think that for bank the fraud detection is the first use case, then you have to identify the key critical data element is needed for fraud data analysis, fraud detection analysis, and let's do the cleanup in that data. Because of course we want to create all the data need to be high quality, like we want to do it, but we have limited resources, and where to put those resources is the key, right? So and making the high data quality is not a like, okay, you put the button and that data become high quality. It's a processes need to be implemented to collect the high quality data. The processes need to be implemented to make sure the data remains good, as well as the source, so know the source of the data. All these framework you have to apply it, but where do you apply the framework is the key. And that's where if the AI readiness is all about use cases. Predict what use case you think is you can solve it, and for the data you will need underlying data. Make sure that is high quality, free from biases.
I think this focus or the starting use cases as the starting point, I think is a great point. And let me actually share something with you, and just tell me know if my let me know if my understanding is correct or not. So this text or unstructured data, the which is be used by generative AI, chat GPT, etc. I was reading somewhere that even this, for an organization to have chatbots and to use these chat GPT sort of platforms, even they need AI readiness. They need their data or their unstructured text to be AI ready. And I used to think that it's mainly the loans data, the standard structured data that we have, let's say, in a loan database, that needs to be AI ready. But they are saying that even the unstructured data needs to be AI ready, so that the AI, all these large language models can read it. And I was a bit surprised. And then as I further read it, I read this thing called metadata. So basically, you generate some metadata about the unstructured text, and that is, if the metadata is good, that is how your unstructured data becomes AI ready. Does this make sense to you? Is this how you see AI readiness as well for unstructured data?
Definitely. Let's say that there is a document in your file somewhere which says that the person name the person name S. Smith, his race is black, have did certain work. And if that case is going to the LLMs, LLM will be biased immediately, right? Because there will be bias about that activity, and that particular thing cannot go to the LLMs because it will be against the law, the spirit of the law, right? So these are the things which you have to predict, that okay, is this the document which is going to the LLMs are free from biases. That is the requirement of the law, right? Now you have to also think about your internal policies, right? Let's say that you are putting some sort of a salary information of your companies, or what is your salary structure within the company. There is a document which talks about it, right? There's some sort of a formula is there which is going to the document. Now you can't put that into the LLMs, although this is not against the law. But people will be able to figure out, hey, what is my boss salary is, and then suddenly your company culture is going to be devastated because of that. So what should go into the AI, what should not go to the AI is need some sort of a classification as well. And that's where you need AI
Interesting.
readiness in that area as well. You
Okay,
just cannot blindly put all the unstructured data into AI model. Hey, learn from everything. It's not going to work. It will
So
have
this is
consequences.
right. So this is interesting. So what you're saying is AI readiness, one dimension is data quality, and then you're saying the second dimension is you need to tell the models in a classified manner which data is usable and which data is prohibited. So this
Yes.
data classification, is there a technical term that you use in your for this
Data
classification?
classification is the term.
Okay.
But earlier, data classification used to be by PII data, personally identified data. Now, since AI coming is the most like racial data, biases data, those classifications are added again. We also added in our platform those biases so that people can, figure out those biases.
Got it. That's an interesting, because I remember from my analytics days when we used to make these predictive fraud models, we were not allowed to use attributes like age or gender or even location in the US context. So you're saying in this AI, if AI is being relied upon to make all these models, the AI will not discriminate. AI will not have that sense to know which attributes to not use. So AI readiness means telling the AI software or telling your modeling software that this data can be used and this data should not be used in the
Should
modeling.
not be used. Yes.
Okay, which is
And
what
that
you're
is
calling as
where,
data.
and also the good part about AI is that you can use AI to classify the data, and then you can do that as well. But those are the steps you have to take
Got it.
to make
Right,
sure that the data doesn't go into the AI model.
right,
Because the
right.
one of the thing is also here is that although you can feed the data, you can tell AI to not use the data, but that will not justify the regulations. Because AI is a black box. You really do not know, nobody know how does it work, because every formulas inside it is it's unknown to everyone, right? So the only way the regulations would be able to check is through the what data you have used to train the model, and if that data have biases or any proprietary any PII information, that will basically have the law problem with you. There is nothing to,
Got
maybe you can ask the AI model to say that okay, not learn by biases, but that is not okay with the legal perspective.
Got it. As I'm asking these questions, I realize because I am a generalist, so I am asking basic questions which can, so that we can make sense of this new technology. If there is any technical question from anyone, just Sharath, feel free to stop me.
Yeah, so I
Uh,
see that there is a lot of questions coming up. So let me say that there is a one question come up is from Chandan, and he's asking that what do you think is the crucial first step for business in achieving AI readiness? Redefining companies' vision, leveraging existing data assets, identifying use cases, or simply having the ambition to integrate AI. And again, the question itself is I think it laid out all the aspects of it. um, as we said that the data is the number one thing which you need to start your data AI readiness. And I think that's what the question is. I think we already answered that question earlier.
Yeah. So the first, maybe having, I think, having perhaps first some kind of a ambition, some kind of a basically the why being clear. That why do you need AI? Is it for disruption? Is it for productivity? And then you are saying the first step is for readiness. The first step is start with data.
Start
Yeah,
with
I think
data.
that came out clearly. Yeah, yeah. Any other question you want to take before we continue?
I think, yeah, I think we can continue our discussion. There is a lot of question, but mostly the questions are around the same aspect of things. There is one
Interesting.
more question from Sachi. Even if your data is high quality, how do you ensure that data is well organized, structured so that you can use it to be AI ready? So that is also a very good question. That which is she's asking is that how do you ensure the data is well organized and structured, right? Again, the objective here is that you have to organize your data first, so that your data professionals, who data scientists, can use this data to find the data, to kind of research the data and use in their AI model. So organizing and structuring is a part of AI readiness as well. so do the making the data high quality. So I would generally describe this as a data discoverability is one aspect of AI readiness. Data quality is another aspect of the AI readiness, and the data classification is the third aspect of the AI readiness, because although it's high quality, it's easily discoverable, but if it have some sort of a biases, it's not good. And then you need to make sure that it's properly unbiased. So you classify the data. So that I would say that at a very high level, there are three aspects of AI readiness. When you talk about quality, and quality is just, we can say it, this is high quality. Quality is a very deep rooted subject, where you can define this by ensuring where the data come from, where it goes, by knowing, understanding it, having a framework in place in the company so that every data quality problem can be addressed, right? So those are various, basically a typical data governance framework which ensure high data quality can be achieved, can be implemented to achieve the high data quality. High data quality is not going to come suddenly that, hey, I'm collecting all the addresses. Suppose I'm a company, Home Depot, for example, and everybody comes up and they don't give address or whatever they give it. They're not going to suddenly become good addresses. You have to have a proper framework in place to collect that information. So it's a comprehensive framework is needed to collect better data quality. So those are some good questions which came up. Do you want to? I think we had a good question. Do you have any more questions?
Actually, this was one question that I always had. When we did not have AI, whatever models we were making, banks were making, or anyone was making, the speed of making those models was slow. So in a way, if your data was garbage or not that high quality, the problem was also less to a less extent. But now it's like the problem of garbage in, garbage out. If you are leveraging AI without data quality being in place, you are magnifying your poorness of the data quality problem much more, 10 times more and faster.
I think this is a very foundational question. It happened it already happened in terms of fake news, right? Because we do not have a framework in place for validating the news, validating the subject or anything. So that's why because if one person start the fake news, other people are leveraging it and transforming it. It built on the foundation of a fake news, and other people have just distributed this, because there is no governance principle to block the fake news, right? There is no laws, or there is no regulations which can do that, right? So and that is why most of the time it's divided. The countries, at least I know the US is totally divided into two now, and there is only 10% of the people in the center now, the 45% at this side and 45% at that side. So but this is regarding that how it changes, right? Because it rely on the bad data and AI, and then because the speed of the news movement has gone so far, so fast. That's why it's happening. Earlier it was not that. Earlier also you could say the news, but the speed was slow. The same thing is going to come in the data industry if we do not solve this problem. So what will happen is that we will put the garbage in, and the garbage out would be there for all the AI models, and everything will be garbage. In fact, last time although the Google interview, they have now Google results are not as good, because AI is generating a lot of content, and again it's generating with the garbage, and the SEO algorithms or the Google's algorithms are not smart enough to differentiate between the AI content versus regular content, and the content which is coming on the Google results are not as that quality which used to be earlier. So even Google is addressing that concern now. But this is going to even multifold multiple time when more problems, like more data is getting generated by AI, which is not of a good quality, and then it's going to be just exploded with that.
Yeah. So it's a from both the sides. The it becomes critical, as you said. The data explosion is there, and if the processing explosion, because of AI, you have the processing explosion or processing power explosion also. So all these explosions, and if your starting point is a garbage, then you have a garbage explosion. So this means that the governance or data quality, or whichever way you want to call it, data quality or data governance becomes actually even more critical because of AI.
Yes,
That's
because
how
speed is fast, so you have to make sure that the data remains in that is a very high quality. Otherwise, we will have a problem going out in that.
Got it.
So,
Just one more.
uh-huh.
I just had one more question on this AI. Uh, when you say AI readiness, so I've seen the use of AI in lot of let's say I was doing some research before this discussion, and I heard this term called automated data lineage, automation of data catalog, and I read that AI can also be used to automate the data lineage and the data classification. So is that a different topic, using AI for automated data lineage? Is that different from AI readiness?
So AI readiness have, I would say, couple of components, right? So the one is the data need to be well curated. Curated means it need to be a business insights are there in the data, right? That is the one part. The second part, we need to know where the data come from, where it goes, right? Third part is that we have a quality framework is defined. Some sort of a data quality framework is defined. So when we collect the data, we make sure that the collection of the data is high quality. And after that, whenever the processings are happening, we will ensure that all the data remains high quality there, right? So those are the very high level principles. Now, when say lineage is a complex subject, right? If you there was a one blog by McKinsey only that they said that about $100 million was spent by a bank to just create the data lineage, right? Now it becomes not $100 million problem, it's $100,000 problem, because the tools are there to kind of automate the lineage. And that we were doing it before as well, because you can use the tools. We parse the source code and we build the lineage. Now, parsing the source code, you might use some sort of a AI for it, which is, yes, good for it, because AI is very good at doing the repetitive task. So earlier we use different technique. Now we can use a little bit AI to create the lineage. That is good. Like, another question is well curation. Now the curation have to come from human. If you AI cannot curate the data by itself. So people are saying that, hey, can you AI curate as well? AI curation, AI can speed up somewhat, but human should be in the loop, because otherwise
The
the
judgment,
human intelligence need to come. That's the purpose of the curation. Otherwise, what's the purpose of
the
curation of
judgment.
that?
Yeah,
The judgment part. So that is the human need to come into the loop of the well curation. And the data quality framework, again, there is a AI can help in multiple areas like anomaly detection, etc. There's areas where AI can help, but still you have to have a framework in place. There is a processes need to be in place, and then AI can be help in the repetitive task, like especially
Got
like
it.
wherever the AI can help in those areas.
Got it. So I think what I'm getting from your response is there are two different applications of AI. One is where companies like OvalEdge are using AI for their own features, like automated data lineage or automated data cataloging. So this is using AI for your own product, within your own product.
Yes.
And by AI readiness, what you're saying is making the client's data AI ready. So these two,
Yes.
okay.
So it can be, so yes, exactly. So what we are helping is to make the data AI ready, leveraging AI so we are empowering AI, but still people is needed. I won't say that you can put all the data in OvalEdge and tomorrow all the data is AI ready. It's not going to happen. The algorithm can help, but still you will need people, processes in place to make the data AI ready. But a lot of heavy lifting has been done by AI now, for sure. Like if you say 5 years ago versus today, I see in the product features and capabilities, like a lot of features are automated now, so that like a lot of work is done by AI now. But in order to make the AI create a new AI, again, you will need to write algorithms to use your data to create new models for it.
Got it. Clear. So I'll just quickly, it was a very interesting discussion with you. I'll just summarize what I understood. The key takeaways for me as a generalist. I think one thing clearly came out is that AI is a very powerful technology, and it is powerful. That power or impact differs by industry. Some industries are going to be impacted or even disrupted a bit more. And then I think the second takeaway, very important, was you're saying that data should be the first step. And then third, you explained what does it mean for your data to be AI ready. You talked about data governance becoming more important, data classification, especially against these biases, compliance specific biases, and data quality. Okay, interesting. So I think just maybe in the interest of time, that's I think all from my side. If there is any other question from audience.
Yeah, I think that's this is what we're doing. Thank you again, everyone, for being a part of this podcast. Looking forward for more of your discussions, and please comment and let us know how we did. If you have any other questions or something, we can help you answer the question. And if you need OvalEdge demo to see that how you make AI ready, please let us know. We will help you to do the demonstration of OvalEdge to make sure that how you can make your data AI ready. Thank you.
All right, that was a very, very enriching discussion, Saurabh and Shradd. And thank you. Yes, and as Shradd said, do follow us on LinkedIn so that you can stay updated with most of our live sessions as well as our blog post. Yes, and signing off for now. See you again soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Sharad. Thank you,
Bye.
CP.